Hello everyone and welcome to the Iowa Speedway for the running of the Monster Energy 500 here in the middle of the cornfields in Iowa. We're excited to see an action-filled race, 125 laps around this short oval. Saw the truck race yesterday come out with your race winner Antoine Smith making up just a little bit of ground on Eves, but pretty much that race solidifying that it'd be a two-horse race heading into the chase. In the Cup Series, you still have the top 5 drivers within a race of your points leader, Sebastian Cucalon. The only one is real close. That's Brandon Morris, 17 points back. Irving Allison, Colton Lane, Jay Jefferson still in that fight, while Zachary DeLillo and Cody Goforth are just barely outside of it. And Peter Onjak, Tib Foster, they need to push hard with Anderson Reed to get as many points as they can today, while Carter Friesen and especially Matty Porta are pretty much out of the championship fight. Got a long race ahead of us. Let's go ahead down through the field real quick. It's Irving Allison starting on pole in the 16. You see the Cup guys still repping those pink and yellow and white cancer cars out here for the Cancer Awareness Month race. It's Irving Allison up front and Brandon Morris alongside him. The BGM lockout of the front row is big between these guys. Larry Hagan rolls off third in a pretty much chase sandwich as it's Matty Porta in fourth, Cucalon fifth, Friesen sixth, and Foster seventh. Carson Bowers sits eighth. He's a non-chase contender. But Jay Jefferson, who has come out of nowhere in the chase, he was about 80 points back exiting Mosport. He's now just 46 points back on the 19 and the 55 as he won last week at Talladega. Brady Burkhart rounds out your top 10. Zachary DeLillo rolls this car off in the 11th position. Colton Lane in 13th. Eli Bright 14th, looking for a cup win before he goes. And William Duncan in 15th. A great run for that 33 team there for Ditech. In 17th is Anderson Reed. 19th is Peter Onjak. Diego Yepes almost won the Truck Series race yesterday. He rolls off in 21st. And if you're looking the rest of the way back, there's Cody Goforth in that 17. He currently sits 7th in points after a pretty poor run the last few races, losing him a ton of points. He will roll off 26th alongside the truck points leader in Matthew Eves in that 25th spot. Cordell Smith is behind the wheel of the 81 this weekend. You got Alex Benyako there in that 83, his last time at Iowa. Riley Spurley, too, after a vicious crash yesterday in the truck race, going up and into the catch fence, flipping over the catch fence, or into the catch fence, not over the catch fence. Spurley is okay. He does have his hand wrapped up a bit, but he is ready to go racing here in that 28 car. And it's Joseph Strigley in last. He got into the wall coming off of turn number 4 on his qualifying lap. It cost him a ton of time and ended up putting him at the back of the grid. But we're ready for these 125 laps. Sure to be an exciting event. 2 BGM guys starting on front, lockout on the front row. We'll go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at Iowa.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired here at the Monster Energy 500. Going to be an exciting one. BGM front row lockout, and Irving Allison and Brandon Morris lead the field down with Hagan and Porta in row 2. Cucalon, Friesen, Foster, Bowers, Jefferson, Burkhart, your top 10. All the chase contenders rolling off inside the top 25, most of them inside the top 15. Anderson Reed 17th, Onjak 19th, Goforth 26th is the outliers there. A lot of the chase contenders starting up front. It's going to be a big day. If the 19 and 55 can hang on up front, they'll continue to put themselves as a class of the field. If the 19 falls back and the 55 doesn't, that could give Morris the points lead. If both fall back, that could bring Irving, Lane, Jefferson, and even DeLillo and Goforth into the fight. It's a long day here. Fuel window's about 45 laps, meaning we'll see a couple pit stops today. Should be an exciting one. Irving Allison versus Brandon Morris lead us down. Green flags in the air, and we're racing at Iowa. Irving tried to clear, but you saw that 55 maintaining that outside line. Now as Cucalon kind of jumps out of line, seeing 3 wide almost up there with Larry Hagan. But we got 3 wide in the middle. Carter Friesen still thinks he can win this title, making a big move. Porta and Friesen are both plus 100 out of the points lead. It's going to be a miracle if they're still in the fight after today, but the guy who is still in the fight, Morris, is not giving an inch on the outside line. I think now he's going to get by Irving. Irving's going to buy him. No, not even then. That 55 is working the outside line, not letting them fall back, not letting them get by him, and he and Irving are still at it side by side for this top spot as they're all jumbling around further back. Cucalon and Jefferson now on the outside, and as we said in the truck race, the outside line, you can't really make it work. You can defend, you can't attack, and Morris is attacking like crazy right now as Cucalon now shoved 3 wide back there in the 19. You might get a piece of the wall there in the Iowa car, the Iowa front stretch wall. Now Morris finally drops back to second, 4 laps in, so a valiant effort by that 55 on the outside. It cost him, though. It was Colton Lane getting aggressive. We saw in the truck race yesterday, Jose Perez was moving everyone left and right to get through the field. Colton Lane might be adopting that. He had a top 5 yesterday in a late pit call in the truck race. Rest of the pack is right together. There's Reed and Onjak. They are already in this front pack, 10th and 11th. So you got all of the championship contenders right up in the mix already as Foster has taken the lead away from Irving Allison further up. There's Porta dropping to the back. He's been one of the worst cars in the chase. He's had some terrible luck and has been bad. There's Cody Goforth in a bit of a down streak there in that 17. Back up front, though, Irving Allison hanging on right behind Foster. And if you're looking at it, inside the top, I think 11, inside the top 11 at this current moment before Yepes gets by Reed, only Larry Hagan is not a championship contender. The rest of the top 11 are 10 of your chased drivers right in the mix right there. And now you got Yepes, Burkhart moving their way up, William Duncan maintaining up front as Reed drops back. There you see Jefferson going at it with Cucalon, Lane, Hagan, Morris, all in this fight, trying to pick up as many spots as they can. There is Onjak. Now, the thing for this 44 team, they've just had some terrible luck in the chase. They have had great performance, great track position, and it has gone out the window for them. Talladega was stuck in the second pack, taken out. At Richmond, I forget if it was a crash or a pit stop. At Richmond, it was a pit strategy call. A long time on pit road cost him a ton of time. He recovered to 6th, but he could have won that race with the pace he had. And the 44 now, a couple races ago, had a crash when they were inside the top 5, has had mechanical failures. You need the cars to run strong, and he's been doing that. They just can't finish off as DeLello and Yepes sideways back there. DeLello almost going around in the 57 off the boss man of Yepes, and I think Diego's hungry for a win at Iowa since he almost won yesterday. Also, with this being the Monster Energy 500, it'd be a big show for them as Irving's going to take that top spot back as they go. Jay Jefferson, though, is like Peter Onjak, has come alive in the chase, but he can finish races where he's been running, and Jay is on the hunt now to pick up even more points and get himself even closer to possibly redeeming himself and defending his crown successfully. We have never had a repeat champion in the NSDCA defend their crown. We have one repeat champion being Jay Jefferson. He won last season in 2 different series. And you have Carson Bowers, who won the truck title and the Mountain Dew Custom Series title, but they were not back-to-back. Jay Jefferson now clear into second as they're 3 wide behind. Jefferson second, Onjak third. If Peter can finish this race out and the 19 and 55 can struggle, the 55 is already dropped outside of the top 10. If the 19 can just fall back there, this could be a gigantic day and a possible turnaround for your regular season champ in the 44. He doesn't have to beat Jefferson right now. He came into this race 29 points back from Jay Jefferson, but the problem is that Jay's already 46 back from your points leaders in the Toyotas, so we'll see what they can do today, but it is Jefferson, Foster, and Onjak up front. Foster has won this race before. He did not make the chase in the Truck Series, but went on to win his first oval race here. Then he went on to win 2 Daytona races last year in the Cup Series, solidifying himself as not just a road course ace. And right now he is pressuring Jay, but it is all the 48 out in front right now. Onjak cleared a 3rd. 4th is Irving Allison. 5th, Hagan. Colton Lane 6th. Cucalon 7th. Yepes 8th. Anderson Reed 9th. 10th, Brady Burkhart. 11th is Morris. 12th, DeLello. He has damage now to the left side of that car. He has been beat up and used today by everyone. Roger Ray is up in 13th. Porta 14th. Bowers 15th. Duncan maintaining top 20. There's Carter Friesen just inside the top 20. Cody Goforth still struggling. He's 31st right now. Can't get anything going for that 17 team. Looking all the way back through. Going to the wider angle shot here. Can't really see down the backstretch, but we are going to kind of pause it right here as they come off the corner. Jefferson, Foster, Onjak, Irving, Allison, Lane, your top 5. The rest of the field coming on around. You see a couple packs are forming here at Iowa. Some great action, though, as you see the outside, the inside line working. The outside seems to be a little bit faster than it was in the truck race, so maybe these cup cars have a little more grip on the outside there. As Foster now fighting on Jack for second. Foster is currently tied with Peter. They're both 85 points back, so if they both can finish near the front, the 19 and 55 can fall back. That's big for both of them. They're right now fighting for the current 8th place in the standings as they run. Jefferson, though, pulling away, and I think even if you're on Jack, you don't have to win this race. It'd be nice to, but even second, you get bonus points, you don't tear it up, and that's really what you got to do in these last 3 races. Auto Club is going to be a very fun track. You can run any line there, top, bottom. This is the first year that it's gotten a second date, and it is going to be a amazing show like it was earlier this season in the Truck and Cup Series. So that is going to be an exciting event. You got to make it through Iowa first. You got to survive Iowa. And right now, 20 laps into this one, still over 100 laps to go. Do not get comfortable wherever you are on track, but if these guys can run, kind of single file it out, spread out, they might be able to do good. The problem is Cucalon is also spreading out. He's spread out into the 5th position, catching up to those front guys. Burkhart's 6th. The rest of them fighting as Morris gets himself back inside the top 10. There's Friesen. Give a shout out to Duncan, still up inside the top 20 in the 33. Usually he's the one falling back as they're 3 wide with Hagan, Reed, DeLello. Now Yepes pushing DeLello to the inside of the 55 of Morris. 5 cars under a blanket here. A little bit of contact between Hagan and Reed getting into the corner. Doesn't look like anything's going to happen of it, though. Reed's going to drop back. Bauer's bringing that 25 up. Reed's going to get his bit of the Iowa stripe there. As Cucalon's up there now. Onjak going after Jefferson, looking for this top spot. Wants to get himself a bonus point. Give Jay a little run for his money up here. The 2 classic. This is the classic rivalry. It spanned 7 years of the sport, and it was down to these 2 in the inaugural season of the Mountain Dew Custom Series. A close fight to the end. And Onjak now is going to take that spot away from Jefferson, is going to lead that led that lap, and is going to take the race lead. We'll see what he can do in that 44 car. Has had a lot of short track speed this season, just cannot finish out those races. You got Irving and Tib up front, a 4-car pink out run up front with Cucalon in 5th, a couple blues further back as Cucalon solidly in that 5th spot. Now Jefferson fighting back. These guys got to stop fighting because you're not fighting these guys right now around you. You want the you want the points, excuse me on that. But sure, you want the points, but think bigger picture. If you can pull away from Cucalon, he can't get up there, go through you guys, and drive away. And that's what a problem has been all season long is we'll see a lot of drivers. They'll be fighting for the race lead, and they'll either fight for second and let the leader go by, or they'll squabble amongst themselves and let guys catch up that are much faster than them. There you see Onjak, a crossover on Jefferson. Looking back to the inside, and Jay's going to lead that lap. Remember, you get a bonus point for leading the most laps in the race. So these 2 right now, Jay's had a couple laps out in front for a little bit. Foster has as well, so is Irving. And Peter's now trying to get himself up there, pull away, possibly try to get him some bonus points in this fight. As we got a crash up in front, that's Alex Fletcher, and they're not going to throw a caution for it. As Jefferson's going to be all the way up into the wall. I think he might have gotten into some oil or something. And that is big. They didn't call the caution. The 07 is destroyed up here as Jay's going to drive right to his inside. Jay's not going to be happy about that at all with the NSDCA. And now that brings Cucalon right back up here in the 19. He is now 3rd as they all kind of slowed down, and Onjak and Irving are fighting for that top spot. So Cucalon, Morris is doing what he needs to. He's back in 7th. He's lost some time, but now Jay's right there. We'll see Alex Fletcher. I'd take that down pit road as soon as possible, buddy, because you are currently really slow with that damage. And I guess the NSDCA thought it would clear by then, but at a short track, it's not like a road course or a super speedway where if you spin at the back, there's no one for a couple minutes, really. As Cucalon's now going to jump to 2nd, and I think that issue with the 07 kind of messing with this front pack has just lit a fire under him because he's about to go to the race lead in this 19 car. And Onjak's still out in the race lead. Irving Allison back in 3rd, Foster 4th, and Jefferson 5th. He is heated on the radio, asking for the officials to review that. And figure out what is going on there as Cucalon is attacking Onjak for the top spot. If he gets this bonus point for a lap led, that's going to negate pretty much everyone else's chance at doing so. Onjak defending like a lion up here in this 44 car, trying to do what Morris was doing in those opening laps, and we'll see what they do, but it looks like Cucalon's going to get by him there as they go side by side for that top spot. Colton Lane now fighting. He's brought himself up to 6th or 5th, and Morris in 7th puts 7 chase contenders up in front is Onjak. Going after Cucalon, Sebi will lead that lap, and that's pretty much going to say all these guys that were trying to lead laps, they got to go for the most laps led if they want to get an extra point up on the 19. Porta Friesen, 10th and 11th. As we said, they are 11th and 12th in the standings, over 100 points back apiece. They need a miracle. Porta is out of it. He's 150 back. The most you can gain is 51 per race, so he needs to win with the 48 finishing lap, or with the 19, I should say, not getting a bonus point. So that bonus point right there is Irving are going to make contact, spin down the back straightaway, and that is going to bring us to a caution. The field trying to slide through him. William Duncan's in it. Larry Hagan's in it as they're all piling in on the backstretch, and that is 2 championship contenders done. They are done. Heavy crash for both of them. And Jefferson is going to be heated getting out of that race car. He knew there should have been a caution earlier. That is going to screw everything up. And I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin for both the 16 and 48. That kills them in the championship hunt. We'll have pit stops now. 34 laps in. We were getting to the fuel window, which is about 45 laps. So if you run 45 laps apiece from here, we'll say you go to 35, so that'd be 80 and then 125. So like always in the NSDCA, no matter how long you make the races, no matter how the fuel windows come out, of course we have a caution, which would throw all that away as we go. There's Alex Fletcher pacing around. He's going to be saved. 2 championship contenders are done. Irving and Jay towed off the track. I am sure some reporters are going to be rushing down to that 48 box ASAP to try to figure out what was going on there. Larry Hagan's day done. Heartbreaking for the 21. Irving's day done. That couldn't have happened to 2 worse chase contenders, because now that makes it about a 2-horse race confirmed, unless Colton Lane can get that Chevy up there in the 60. Cucalon's still on the bottom. I think he's waiting for Alex Fletcher to go in. Sometimes it does that, and that he will. So we're going to replay what happened to Alex Fletcher, as well as the rest of the field, because we have a big one, and we are going to definitely have some hot tempers coming out after this race. Peter Onjak loses a ton of time. He might have gone for 4 tires, I think. I feel like that would be the case there, because we saw a lot of these guys up front go for 2. We'll see how that goes. Sebastian Cucalon leads over Foster, Lane, Morris, and Yepes. We got a lot to discuss here at Iowa. First of all, looking at Alex Fletcher's incident, was running near the back of the grid, and it's just going to be Aiden Smith really in that 87, going down into turn number 3, turning the 07 into the outside wall. Some heavy damage to the 07, but somehow did not bring out a caution. Did kind of mess up the front of the pack, though. But what messes up the championship fight and probably will take both of these drivers out of the championship hunt is Jay Jefferson, Irving Allison getting real aggressive. Jay tries to squeeze Irving up. It does not work. They both collide, and this is where it gets big. Couple guys get by him, but back down, and a big hit by William Duncan, Larry Hagan, Austin Murray. And you're going to see coming in here on the inside, they actually all stack up, and Max Anderson really just sends Vince Freeze straight into him. You're going to see Austin Murray here tries to sneak by to the inside, and they just kind of split up there, and that's where the damage comes from the 24. But Vince Freeze is down there. He had it saved, but Max Anderson drives straight through him, puts him into the 16. Heavy damage to all of them on board with Irving Allison. He was on the outside of 3 wide. Jay didn't give him any room. Jay's getting aggressive today, and it's going to backfire for both of them. Probably take the BGM and TSR drivers out of the championship fight. We'll see how this race goes. A big hit there. You see Duncan piling as well. Heavy damage to all the cars. Most of them most likely out of the race. And there's that second hit from Freeze and Max Anderson. So a big one here early on in the Iowa Monster Energy 500. A lot of cars taken out. Championship contenders taken out here at the Iowa Speedway. Back live here at Iowa, the Monster Energy 500. Couple updates. Peter Onjak did only take 2 tires, just had a very slow pit stop. Zachary DeLello also lost a ton of time, but they were repairing the left side of that car after an earlier incident. Pretty much everyone from that crash is out of the race, with the exception being the 12 car of Max Anderson, and I believe the 81 of Cordell Smith was also involved in that. All drivers except for Vince Freeze were checked and released from the care center. They took Freeze out of the track to a local hospital. Pretty shaken up from that incident, being pretty much pinched in between 12 and 28, or 12 and 16 in that crash. Sebastian Cucalon leads and is looking to pretty much lock up a title tonight. If he can hang on over the 55 and 60, just has to put enough space between him on track. Green flag's in the air, a huge jump by the 19, and we're back racing at Iowa. (19) going way up the track there, coming around. He's going to lose a ton of time, and I think Foster's going to get to the inside of him. So Cucalon made a massive mistake into turn 3, sending it way too hard. And that's going to bring the 40 of Foster to the inside, and that's going to bring Tim Foster to the race lead. So he's putting on anything he can do for that Onge Auto team to get him into victory lane today. You got Peter Onjak. You also got Roger Ray maintaining a top 20 run. A great job by the 84 Ray. Reed, Freeze, and Porta have to win this race to make any more chances at the chase. The rest of these guys just have to finish ahead of this man right here, Cucalon, which is not going to be an easy task, as the 19 is back out to the race lead in front of Tib Foster, but Tib is not going to be denied as Morris shoves Colton Lane out of the way. He knows he has to get up there, and he wants to make this a 2-horse race between the 19 and 55. As Lane actually got shoved all the way up, he got a piece of the wall down the front stretch, so big issue there for the 60 team. Onjak already picking up spots again. He had a very fast car on that last run. We'll see what he can do. He already made it through a bunch of cars in traffic, as Morris is all over the back of the 40. Almost contact between the top 3 there as they are under a blanket. Foster, we'll see how aggressive he gets to get around the 19. And look at Yepes up to 4th. He took it personally after yesterday, losing to Antoine Smith in the closing laps. Now he has a car that can hang on, can fight with the big dogs, and he's taking the fight to him. He's up here in the 4th spot. And Brady Burkhart, so this is your inaugural 2 races at Iowa in Season 1 and Season 2 of the NSDCA. These guys went to victory lane. Yepes in the closest finish in NSDCA history over Jacob Edson, and Brady Burkhart in a pretty strong run in that Season 2 race. The Dairy Queen colors were on that car back then. Onjak up to 6th, Lane 7th, Ray is 8th, Freeze in 9th, Matthew Eves 10th. Look at Austin Johnson getting the 51 car up into the top 10, 15 there, just outside the top 10. There's DeLello. Strigley started this race 40th. He's up inside the top 20, just trying to pick himself up as much as he can. There's Colton Yo in the 35 car. Rest of the field kind of spread out near the back. We got to keep an eye on the minimum speed here of the 07 and the 12. 148, 151 for them at the end of that straightaway, and we'll see what Cucalon's hitting. 157 right there, so I think that's good, but these guys are about to crash each other. Max Anderson almost getting into the 07. So these guys have met minimum speed. They will be allowed to continue on in the race. And there you see the massive amount of cars down this front straightaway. Still a lot of cars left, but none of it matters if this man right here, Sebastian Cucalon, goes on and wins this race. And this season's championship fights, all you can say is dominance, absolute dominance. Again, Toyota's pretty much undefeated this year. Foster has a win. Onjak has a win. Onjak has 2 wins, actually. Jefferson has 2 wins. DeLello snuck a win for Chevy. That's it. Ford has no wins. Toyota's won everything they can this year. Cucalon and Morris are the class of the field. That is your championship fight, really. Especially now with Irving Allison out. Jay Jefferson, heartbreaking to see that 48 car go behind the wall after a valiant run these last few races. And now Yepes with a big move here. We'll see what anyone can do, but with the 19 out in front, as Yepes is going to slam into the 55. I guess an old rivalry still staying there from the BGM days last season. Just moved Morris out of the way, all the way up high, as Onjak might try to sneak himself underneath in that 44. That he will. Foster and Onjak, again, if you're looking at it, from points to get them back into one race distance behind heading into Auto Club. They need Cucalon to finish about 25th or worse. And right now, he is unstoppable and pulling away from the field in that 19 car. But as we said, the Mountain Dew Custom Series Championship was wrapped up this weekend. Adam Mitchell took home the title, most likely in that 83 car. As well, in the Truck Series, we have a 2-horse race only. It's between the 00 and 48. Everyone else is probably a race behind as the 55 gets into the wall. And as we stand right now with Cucalon out in front, Morris is still in the fight, though he's going to lose a bit of time. Irving Allison is going to be more than a race behind. He's going to fall to about 87 points back. Probably. That is saying we still got a long way to go. That'll depend on this 19 car. Colton Lane only entered 40 back. If he maintains a top 5 run, as he is doing right now, and that's 60 cars. See on-jack up here. Just outside the top 5, I guess, Colton Lane. He would still be within a race behind. Jay Jefferson's out. He's going to fall to about 86 to 96 points back if Cucalon wins this race. DeLello is struggling. Cody Goforth is struggling. That's going to take them out. Onjak and Foster are up here, but they already entered this race. 85 back, which is about a race and a half to 2 races behind. And then Anderson Reed, Matty Porta, Carter Friesen have to win this race and gain about 20 points on Cucalon while doing it. So, as we've been saying, as this whole chase run has been, it's been all about the championship, all about the points, all about the scenarios. We haven't been really enjoying some racing, so what I think we're going to do is do a very quick NSDCA. Crank it up. As we saw right there, Burkhardt almost crashed the 44, plain and simple, went 3 wide in that move. And with the 12 and 07 really holding up that field, they're now 2 seconds back from Cucalon. That is a big swing there as Max Anderson and Friesen are getting together. This 12 car is not moving out of the way for anyone. And they're making some more contact. So Max Anderson, he's a couple steps away from being parked in this race. Already sent Vince Freeze straight in to the 16, which that in and of itself, you know, it's just piling in. I'm sure he didn't do it maliciously, but now he is just very much not being a part of this. As one car's around, that's Tip Foster to the outside wall, back into traffic. DeLello might have gotten a piece of it. Eli Bright's just going to sneak through, and caution is out. Another chase contender with some heavy damage to that car, and that might be the end of Tib Foster's chances at a chase run here. It's going to bring the field right back to Cucalon, and we have not had a green flag cycle yet. Just a couple laps before the green flag, or before we'd have to pit, is when these cautions have been coming. Scared to think if Foster was turned by Onjak or not. There's Max Anderson, Fletcher, they stay out because they are lapped down. DeLello, we'll take a look at that 57. I think he has just a little bit of damage to the right front. Rest of the field's coming on down, but Tib Foster torn up, and that's probably going to end his day. Not on the track, but it's definitely going to end his day for bidding for a title fight. We're going to go ahead to our pit cam. As you see, they're going to work on the left side tires. A lot of these guys took 2 tires earlier on in this event. under caution. Burkhart is going to beat the 19 out. Look at Joseph Strigley is going to be third. It had to be a fuel-only stop for the 63. He moves up a ton of places. There's the 55. A lot of cars. Cody Goforth's back up here. So a wild and wacky pit road we've had today. 62 and 125 complete. And that is just going to mean more drivers shaking up this grid. And the 99 of Burkhart got out in front of the field. There you see the 12 and 07 coming in. I don't know if Strigley's coming back, and he's still on the apron, so Strigley might be coming back in. He might have actually missed his pit box there in the 63, and I think that is the case for Joseph Strigley as he's going to bring it back in. So that's big for Strigley there. Now they're going to go ahead and work on that car, so alas, it wasn't meant to be for him. Burkhart, your new leader over Sebastian Cucalon, Colton Lane, Peter Onjak, Diego Yepes. Got a lot of racing left to go and a lot more championship implications going on here at Iowa. Not much you can say about this one. Championship contenders, Tib Foster, Colton Lane. Lane just dumps him. You're going to see as they come off the corner, Lane had a big run in that 60 car. He's trying to get himself in the top 5, chasing down the 19. And he goes in there. Tib came down maybe a little bit, but Lane sent it in, did not care. Sent that 40 into the outside wall. Heavy damage to Tib Foster. That'll probably take his championship hopes out as well. And Colton Lane, I'd be sleeping with one eye open, especially at the next 2 races, because that 60 car is going to have some words from the 40. Tib Foster's day probably done here at Iowa. Back live here at the Monster Energy 500. Brady Burkhart out in front over Cucalon, Lane, Onjak, and Yepes. Ray, Morris, Friesen, DeLello, Goforth, your top 10. Porta, Eves, Spurley-Tube, Reed, Bowers, Johnson, Curtis, Neal, SWJ, and Bright round out your top 20. We've had a couple big crashes today, a couple problems with championship contenders today. I'm sure Colton Lane is going to be watching his mirror or watching out his windshield. Whatever happens with this 40 car, if he's fast or slow, I don't know if Lane's going to be able to get by him too easily, or in the future, I don't know if Foster will let him win that championship. But to get to the chance to win the championship, you got to go through Cucalon. Currently ahead of his closest rival by 5 positions. That'd open it up to about a 25 to 30 point lead entering this race or leaving this race. The rest of his competition nowhere near him except for Colton Lane, right on his back bumper. And of course, Onjak, if he can get up there and gain some points, he could still have a shot. But Auto Club is going to be a very make-or-break race for everyone in this grid. Burkhart and Cucalon for SBR lead the top 2 for Toyota. We'll see if Burkhart can play playoff spoiler here as he comes out of turn number 4. Field getting ready to go back racing. Still a long way to go. 60 laps to go this time by. Green flag's back in the air, and the Juniper Networks 99 jumps out into the lead. Burkhart's going to pull away. Cucalon a little slower. Colton Lane now. I don't know if I'd want to let that 19 or that 60 go or not, because it already sees that he will dump you for a position here, especially if you're a championship rival. And if I'm Cucalon, I'd be very worried about that. Lane now looking to the inside of Cucalon, looking for that 2nd spot. Roger Ray looking for a top 5. He's only had 1 top 5 run this season in the 84 car, looking to get himself up into the mix, maybe just help Onjak out just a little bit there as they go. Friesen, Morris, DeLello, Goforth. That's a bunch of championship contenders right there. Well, at least 3 of them are. Friesen, again, needs a miracle today to get himself up there. They're still fighting. There's Porta. Rest of the field, 2x2. Further back, all the way to the damage cars. There's Jeff Alloway real slow, and there's Foster trying to hang on as Cucalon now is chasing down his teammate Burkhart. We're going to take a quick look as Alloway comes off of pit road. 148, 149, so that should meet minimum speed. That should meet minimum speed, and even it does even on the front straightaway, which is a little faster. So Foster is clear to continue on in this race as Colton Lane now wants to gain some points today. He's looking to the inside of Cucalon, for a second as Onjak's going to try to get up there. Cucalon wide again through turn 3. A big run by the 44 as Cucalon's going to get a piece of the wall back there, and Onjak's looking for the 2nd spot even. Pick up some more points if he can get it done. Yepes played some point games yesterday in the truck race. He was able to hang on over the 48 at Eves for the 2nd position, making it a 5-point swing instead of a 3-point swing. So that could be what he's trying to do again today, kind of disrupt that championship fight with Cucalon there in that 19. chilling just ahead. There's Porta and Goforth almost colliding there. Roger Ray still in this fight. Battle for the race lead, though. Colton Lane wants to get up there. He knows he might be the closest threat now to making this a 3-horse race for the title. Irving Allison was. He is out of the race with a crash. Colton Lane's going to get up there. He's going to get a bonus point for a lap led. That is going to put him back even with Cucalon in terms of bonus points for the race today. And Onjak, but there in second. He just wants to get a race win. A big win today. Could be very happy for him. I think we're under caution again. That we are, as Onjak's looking for this race lead. Yepes a little sideways back there. We're going to be sliding coming off of turn number 4, and Onjak will lead the field back around. And he will collect some laps for laps led. Ryan Butcher in the 88 looks like for TSR. He's going to be the one going around at the back of the pack today. That's going to be the third caution of the day. We've had pit stops on our other 2 cautions. We'll see if anyone does come down this time. It looks like Cucalon might be trying to, and that he is. So some diverging strategies here. Diego Yepes is going to bring that 77 on in. Now, from this position, you still have over 50 laps to go. The fuel window is roughly 45, so no matter what, you're going to have one more pit stop to go, but it looks like a lot of cars are staying or coming in. A few are staying out, including Alex Beniaco. Tim Foster, he's on the lead lap in that 40. He's going to pick up some spots. I guess that's the best chance he's got, is to maintain as high as he can up front. Onjak, Lane, Friesen stay out. Cucalon's bringing that 19 in, and we'll see what they do under caution here. Freightliner 19 comes to the attention of his crew, and it looks like it's going to be a splash and go for some of these guys, or at least filling up on fuel. Yepes jumps the 99 or the 19. Yeah, so it's going to be a splash and go. Some fuel-only stops for everyone, just topping off, trying to make it to the end of the race. I'm sure you could stretch it enough, but still a long way to go. 52 laps when the fuel window usually stretched to about 48 in that green flag run in yesterday's truck race. A couple more cautions, though, could change that. Jeff Alloway, we didn't get a report on what happened to the 91, so we'll try to get that coming off of this break. Max Anderson also bringing it back down. Alex Fletcher staying out, but he will go to the rear anyway. Free pass should go actually to Jeff Alloway if he was a lap down by the time the caution flew, which he should be, so Alloway should get the free pass. We'll go ahead, rack this field back up, get you guys back to the action here at Iowa. A lot of the incidents are happening down in turn 3. You see the 04 now to the inside of Ryan Butcher. It's going to be the same thing as the last 2 incidents. They just come down and boom, hooked him into the side. And the 88, they tried to save it, did not happen. Big hit to the back as the 88 goes spinning. Back live here at Iowa, 49 laps to go when we go green. Peter Onjak leads over the 60 of Colton Lane. Brady Burkhart in the 99. Carter Friesen in the 85. Roger Ray in the 84. Alex Beniaco in the 83. Tip Foster in the 40. No one took tires. It was just a splash and go, so those guys are hoping probably to make it to the end of the race. And they did not have a lot of guys stay out. Only 7, though the 40 will be pretty slow up here. He has met minimum speed. Yepes, Cucalon, Goforth round out your top 10. A bunch of chase contenders still inside this top 20. Still a long way to go. We'll see how it plays out. Coming around the front straightaway. Coming down the front straightaway, coming off of turn number 4. Green flag's going to go back in the air. We're racing once again. A bit of a poor start by the 44 is going to check up the whole field. And we're back racing. Top 6 going to break away as the 40 holds up absolutely everyone. But he's welcome to. He passed the minimum speed, but of course it's going to let the 19 by. 55 is going to drop back a ton. 3 wide back here, and this is what we're going to watch because this is going to be real close between some of these guys. Goforth, Morris back here trying to work their way through, going 3 wide. Yepes and DeLello getting held up by it. I guess that's Foster's way of saying screw you to Monster because they are the team that took him out in Colton Lane. And speaking of Lane, he's the race leader now as Onjak's going to fall back now. Burkhart to the inside, looking for that second position, is going to take that spot. Roger Ray jumping to the inside. Caution is out. Tip Foster was turned around. I don't think they appreciated him being up front. That might have been a Monster Motorsports team again, but we are back under caution. And as we've said in the NSDCA, cautions breed cautions. And Tip Foster has been involved in his second one today that might have finally killed the car. Some heavy front-end damage to the 40 team. And now Roger Ray, Peter Onjak are pitting, and the big thing about this, if you pit here, you are definitely within the fuel window. So some guys are going to have to save, but this right here is going to guarantee that the 84 and 44 should be able to make it. Again, I say should because some teams are pretty smart. Some teams are pretty stupid. That is going to cost Onjak a ton of time, though. And with as many cautions as we can, as we have had, I don't know if that's going to make any difference. Alex Fletcher will get the free pass back onto the lead lap if indeed he was not involved in the crash. We'll get a quick replay, bring us back to the action here at Iowa. Day going from bad to worse for Tib Foster. Stuck 3 wide. DeLello gets up there, spins him, and puts that 40 into the inside wall, taking that car behind the wall. Tib Foster's day in championship is over. Back live here at Iowa. Major implications. A flat tire on the 19 is going to throw him to the back of the pack, and that is what this entire field needed. A problem for the 19 team. Tib Foster is taking the car behind the wall, and we have gotten the 1 to go signal to go back racing. That is going to be a major issue for the 19 team, and that's going to put them now all the way back to the 32nd position. We'll see if he can move his way back through this field. As you see, he's going to have 2 fresh tires there on that 19. I'd say just go for 4 fresh ones. Not going to happen, though, but he did just change left sides a couple laps ago. This 19 will be starting at the tail end of the grid, and that is big because that would put... We still have a long way to go, remember, but that would put Colton Lane as your points leader right now. Well, Morris would be your points leader. Colton Lane would be second in the standings ahead of the 19. So that is a big change of pace here at Iowa. We'll see if he has enough time to gain back up. Coming around, 42 laps to go here at the Iowa Speedway. Will fuel play a factor? We'll see what happens. Colton Lane leads us back down and around. Burkhardt already going to make the move to the inside. His lane swung it just a little wide. Now you got Friesen and Benyako fighting back there in 3rd and 4th. Now as Burkhardt, a bit of a bump to the inside of the 60. He's going to move him out of the way and is going to take that top spot. Will we stay green for a lap here after that big crash earlier? The multiple crashes we've had. There's Cucalon now picking his way through some of the lap traffic. He's trying to get up there as Carter Friesen. Now he sees the 19 in the back. He knows it's time to go because this is the only chance he'd have at winning the championship. 112 points back entering this race would only drop him to about 80 points if he won it. Back from the points lead, but the 85 of Friesen now taking the fight to him. He's up in 2nd. Benyako in the 83 up in 4th. He has not won a cup race this season in what will be his final year of competition. Can he get himself in victory lane for SBR instead? But it is Burkhardt out in front. Brady has not won since last year when he was the regular season champion last season with only 1 win at Indianapolis. Of course, he won Talladega last season as well, so it has been a year since the 99 went to victory lane. For Carter Friesen, it's been so much longer. Sauber does not have a Cup Series victory. Well, no, Sauber does have Cup Series wins with Matty Porta, but with the move to Carter Friesen this season and to Riley Spurley-Tube next season, they're trying to end this chapter and start anew. As you got BGM duo of Goforth and Morris now 3rd and 4th. You got Dusty Neal hanging on into 5th, and we're going to go ahead back through the field. There is Onjak, already up to the 15th position. Cucalon steadily making time. He's up to 29th in that 19, but he is in some heavy traffic at the back that he's going to have to maneuver through. And even with a fast car, you don't really have the tire advantage like they had in the Truck Series to move on through like Antoine Smith did. Cody Goforth now, he knows it's go time in that 17. He's making the charge towards the front as he and Burkhardt going at it for the top spot. Morris in the 55, he's enjoying this. Just needs to hang on, and he'll take the points lead back from the 19 with a good run today. But still 2 races to go after this, and still 35 laps for Cucalon to go from 29th to the top 5 on those slightly fresher tires. Goforth, though, clear into the lead. Burkhardt 2nd, Morris 3rd, Friesen 4th. 5th is Dusty Neal as Porta and Neal almost clatter together. Joseph Strigley started this race tail end of the field in the 40th position after smacking the wall in qualifying. He's up inside the top 10 in this 63 car. And don't count out Matthew Eves trying to get one last win for CFRO. They got their supposed last Cup Series win with Dusty Neal at Mosport. But again, you still got a long way to go in the Cup season. There is Onjak as Benyako's car fading quickly. Onjak up in 16th. Cucalon at the tail end of this one. He's 25th now in that 19 car as he continues to put cars behind him. But back up in front, his teammate Burkhardt is putting the fight to the rest of the Toyota gang with the 17 and the 55. Dusty Neal, Joseph Strigley, they're trying to play spoiler. Neal already has this season at Mosport. Strigley still looking for that first win. It's been 4 years since he made his debut in the NSDCA. He's driven for his team for the majority of it. A couple runs with Evernham this year in the Mountain Dew Custom Series. A couple runs with CFRO in his inaugural season in the Mountain Dew Custom Series. But nothing that's been too close to a win outside of Pensacola last year. Road America this year, not on ovals. That is not his specialty. He's fighting for it all today, and Dusty Neal is going to take him 3 wide on Goforth and Porta. Goforth's got to watch he doesn't get into that wall there and is able to continue on, but these guys are racing hard back here. Onjak is set in line. He's 13th, and Cucalon is still moving up through. He's 22nd in that 19 car, charging on through as much as he can. It's going to be hard to get himself back into the top 5, but you see Colton Lane has dropped back to just outside the top 10 in the 60, as Morris in the 55 is looking to take this points lead and possibly the win away from both SBR, the 19 and the 99, as he's going for the top spot in the Viagra number 55 down to the bottom. Almost clatters together with his old buddy Brady, and they are going to go ahead and take that spot away. New race leader, the 55 of Morris, but Carter Friesen is hunting, and he is hungry. Has not won since Atlanta last year. He's going to take a move and take that spot away. 29 laps to go this time by at Iowa. We still have, again, a long way to go. Anything can happen, but they're 3 wide for the top spot as Goforth puts his nose to the bottom. Burkhart fights back. He's going to get back in the fight, but it is Carter Friesen taking a lap led, and almost all the chase contenders have led a lap, save for maybe Goforth, DeLello, Porta, and now Porta could be getting up there with Goforth. They're both inside the top 5. Strigley up to 6th. Onjak up to 12th. Cucalon now fighting his way, looking for 19th on Austin Johnson. And that 19, it's given him a shot that he might lose the most laps led bonus, but these guys are fighting up front. It also means that he will probably lose some points than what he could have had, because if that 19 was still up front, he probably could have won this race, and now he has to recover from it, which I don't doubt he can. As you see the 55 now dropping back. Strigley now breaking himself into the top 5. Could this 63 team do a last to first challenge for their first career win as a team, as a driver? He has a shot at it. He's moving up with Neal. They're both making a charge now on Brady Burkhart in that 99. Bit of a break between the packs as Cucalon is fighting DeLello and Reed there. Those two have to fight harder because that is points that they are losing if the 19 gets by him. Stephen Wallace Jr., Colton Yo, that's GDI making a form in front of him, Monster behind him. So this 19's kind of in a team sandwich right now. But if he gets some clean air in this 19 car, pulls away from the SWJ number 65, and he gets up to the second pack, or the first pack, which is pretty slow being 2x2, this 19 car is going to pick up a ton of time. He's probably going to be in the top 10 by the end of lap 110. But there's Strigley now. He has to defend Colton Yo. Cody Goforth out in front over Carter Friesen. These two were definitely not anywhere near the front this whole time. They've charged their way through, and they are trying to decide this race win amongst themselves. 2-car tango down the front straightaway. Burkhart clear into 3rd. Lane is 4th, and do not count out Roger Ray in 5th. Peter Onjak in 6th as he gets by the 63 and 5. Remember, these guys might be able to make it to the end of the race, and some of these guys might not be able to. Cucalon, though, with that flat tire, he definitely will, as he is now right on the back bumper of his championship rival in the 55. So that is going to be the points lead gone for the 55 of Morris. The 19 and the 60 is still trying to hang on, as well as Onjak trying to get as many points as he can. But the problem with that is Cucalon is right back where he was, top 15. You didn't kick enough dirt onto him. You didn't have that flat tire on track, so he's really lucky that it wasn't during the race that his tire went down, because he would be probably a lap or 2 down at this point. But he still has to fight his way, get as many points as he can. Onjak's cleared that scuffle of the pack behind him. Colton Lane's coming down pit road, so Lane is running it out of fuel, and I think that is what is going to happen now. You're going to see some guys starting to run out of fuel, and that is the worst time, really, for Colton Lane to come down pit road. You don't want to do it on green. I'd rather run it out of fuel than do that, than come down prematurely. Alex Bignacco also running out of fuel. Burkhart's now running out, so maybe we were wrong on the 45 laps to the end of this race, because now Burkhart is out of fuel. We're coming to pit road. And that basically means Cucalon's coming away with the top 5, and most of these guys won't have anything to do about it. That has to scare Peter Onjak, though. Maybe he thinks that he might run out of fuel now because he pit late. Roger Ray ahead of him. Now Friesen's coming down, so Goforth is still out there. Roger Ray might get his first lap sled of the season in this 84 as he is charging on up now on Alex Fletcher, who's a lap car. Held up Cody Goforth, and cars are starting to sprinkle their way into the pits, into pit road. The 84, the 44, the 19, all for sure can make it to the end of the race. The 55, the 60 cannot as it stands if the fuel strategy is running out. About 35 or so laps in, but the 44 might also not be able to make that. Cody Goforth now drafted the 17 down the straightaway. Spurleytube gives the 07 of Fletcher a bit of a bump there. You got Onjato and TSR 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Monster Motorsports in 5th. Onjato 6th, Monster 7th, and Cucalon back at 8th. So Cucalon right now could be staring at the race win in front of him. A flat tire to a race win would be very wild. Just depends on what these guys do. As Max Anderson, I'm pretty sure that no one is going to be happy with that 12 after this race. He already caused a big crash with Freeze. Now he has been holding up drivers left and right as they're trying to get by him in that slow number 12. So a menace on the track, but no real reason right now to kick him off, as he is still maintaining a raceable pace in that 12, even though he's very far off. Spurleytube clearing to 4th. There's Cucalon now fighting for 8th between Porta, Morris, Neal, and the rest of them. Anderson Reed's back there in 21st. There's Friesen back out on track. So if this cycles around, Friesen could be your race leader. Cody Goforth continues on around. We got 14 to go this time by. Still a good amount of time left for anything to happen, but could Roger Ray be the one sneaking out of this one with a race victory? He's up in 2nd, chasing down Cody Goforth. Riley Spurleytube up in 3rd. It'd be a nice send-off to him as he is leaving TSR after a 5-year running span with the team. Actually, 6-year. He started in season number 2. We're in season 7. So that'd be a fantastic send-off for Spurleytube. Larry Hagan would be the only one leaving TSR at the end of the year, not with a race victory, but we still have 2 races to go, as Roger Ray is contending with Cody Goforth. Spurleytube on Jack up here. Peter, of course, he wants to get as many points and win this race because he needs to gain anything massive on the 19, who is now in the 6th position. But I think as a team owner, he'd be very happy to see that 84 team, which started out as a brand new expansion team at the beginning of the year, was off the pace for the majority of the season. And right now, the road course man himself, Roger Ray, remember, he has never won an NSDCA race. He's in some rare air with other guys who have really been underdogs for most of their careers in Cody Goforth and Riley Spurleytube. Roger Ray, though, is defending like a lion over Spurleytube, now attacking Goforth. The Spurleytube falls back, brings Onjak into that mix. Little contact there. Cucalon is up to 5th as Dusty Neal pits. Guys are still running out of fuel, but Roger Ray doesn't care. To the inside of Goforth. 11 laps to go at Iowa, and he's down to the inside looking for that first career win. If he can snag it here today, this would be a fantastic drive and a fantastic season for him, as Goforth is going to come down pit road. Who will have the fuel to make it to the end of this race? We still got 10 laps to go. Do they have enough for another about 8 miles around this oval? Lappers in front of him. That's Cordell Smith. He was in a crash earlier. Roger Ray doesn't have to worry about that. He's pulling away from Spurleytube. This would be one of the biggest upsets if Roger Ray could spoil the chase with his first win in Onjato's expansion team from this season. He was in the air with Ryan Butcher and Eli Bright as expansion teams off of big teams. Didn't really have as much support behind him until the middle of the season when they started getting those upgrades on the cars. And now Riley Spurleytube back in the fight. This is a fan favorite battle for the race win here. As you see Onjax right there, there's Cucalon still chasing down Peter. A lot of cars have come down pit road, though. We'll see how this comes to the end, but we still have a few laps left. Spurleytube all over the back of Roger Ray. Both of these guys looking for their first Cup Series victory. Roger Ray came so close to both the Truck and Mountain Dew Custom Series titles the last 2 years. This year is the first time he has not been competing for a championship this late into the season. Last year, he was one of the dominant drivers. No wins, but I think he would have won the championship without the chase system in it. Now Spurlytube jumping to the inside as Benyako is holding him up. That's going to be big for these two. That's going to bring Onjak back into the mix, possibly Cucalon as well. Depends on how long it takes. Maybe that's what Benyako's trying to do, is hold them up to Onjak instead. But Spurlytube jumps to the bottom, and he will take the lead away from Roger Ray. Down the back straightaway with the help of Alex Benyako. But now Ray jumps back down. Onjak is running out of fuel. That is going to take his championship hopes gone. Spurlytube's out in front. Does he have enough? If not, Cucalon is going to win this race. Coming around, 4 laps to go. Lap traffic all over him. Riley Spurlytube looking to be another driver going into the Triple Crown, winning a Mountain Dew Custom Series race, Crown Royal Truck Series race, and Sundrop Cup Series race in their careers. He has multiple truck wins, one MDCS win, and now he is just a couple laps away with Alex Benyako's help, who has not let Roger Ray by him. Spurlytube coming around, 3 to go this time by. Can he win as he just shoves his way past Jesse Turner, trying to get by all the lappers that he can? Cucalon is going to take off with the title. He's back there in 3rd, chasing down these top 2, but there's not enough time to get to Spurlytube unless he runs out of fuel. Coming down the back straightaway, Riley Spurlytube out in front, and he's coming in, and so is Roger Ray. And just like that, the slipper breaks on the Cinderella story for the 28 and the 84, and the flat tire on Sebastian Cucalon. He came down, he topped off on fuel, and he has one more lap to go before he sits in victory lane at Iowa and puts on the crown, because this championship is going to be his. Coming around, white flag for the 19 of Cucalon. And as we said earlier, the fuel was not going to last if the pit stops happened as they did. And of course, it is not an NSDCA event without pit strategy at the end, ruining what could have been a great finish. But coming through 3 and 4, do not count him out. He wants the title this year. Cucalon wins at Iowa. Fight for second comes down. Gatlin down. He's going to take second. I think Stephen Walls Jr. loses it at the end, but Edson and SWJ with Downey will be the only drivers finishing on the lead lap. Goforth 5th. Onjak 6th is not good. Morrison 8th will keep him there and keep him in the fight. Porta, Friesen, they are out of the championship hunt. So is Anderson Reed. Lane's probably going to be a race back. And just like that, the championship outlook changes, and the flat tire on Cucalon gets him the race win. 6th of the season. And what we thought could have taken the 19 out of the championship lead just extends it. And he wins at Iowa in a fuel strategy run to the end. Onjak 6th, he's going to lose too much. He's probably out of this. I'd say Irving, Jay Jefferson are out. This is going to be a 3-horse race, but it all depends on how Lane runs at Auto Club in comparison to the 19. If not, Cucalon might have this championship locked up soon. Morris is only going to be about 30 points back, which can be made up in 2 races. But we'll see how it is. The 19 steals it. But it's got to be a good day for Gatlin Downey, Jacob Edson, Stephen Wallace Jr. They all come out 2nd through 4th. Onjak 6th, Morris 8th, Porta 10th is your chase contenders. DJ Curtis, Matthew Eves rounding out your top 10 there with some good finishes. A lot of championship contenders out of this one. Tip Foster is going to be the nail in the coffin for him. Jefferson and Irving, they're going to have to hope for a miracle at Auto Club. You just can't stop Toyota this year in the Cup Series. The Truck Series might as well be locked up heading out of Atlanta, depending on how Antoine Smith, Matthew Eves race that. Only 2 races in the season for the Cup Series, the Truck Series, and 1 race left for the MDCS. We hope to see you all there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.